What's up, wrestling fans? We get some news on Goldberg and what his plans are after WrestleMania. A lot of guys have been talking about this recently, and we've gone back and forth about this crap. By the way, if you have not subscribed, click the red subscribe button down below. Don't miss out on my constant news of WWE and wrestling in general, and of course, daily updates right here on my YouTube channel, Joe Cronin Show on YouTube, guys. Over 42,000 subscribers, 25 million views, and Goldberg is being advertised for the first post-WrestleMania appearance as the former WWE and WCW World Heavyweight Champion. Will be taking part in three one-man shows in the United Kingdom. You're Next, an event with Goldberg, takes place in Glasgow, June 26th. So they're going over to the UK. Manchester, June 27th. That's the day before my birthday. And London on July 2nd. This is coming from a post on WrestleZone. Mike Killam on there is reporting this, I suppose. There's no other credit here towards where the information is. I'm sure it's public knowledge now, and that's why. Tickets will be available through InsideTheRopes.co.uk starting Friday, February 10th. Still, Goldberg's future does remain in question. They mentioned that here. It seems like Goldberg is still interested, though, in working with the WWE. I think the biggest question has been how long. Will he continue to work with the WWE the rest of 2017 and possibly even into 2018? Originally, we all thought that Goldberg was just going to be doing some part-time stuff here or there. We thought maybe a one-off or maybe one or two matches or maybe 1, 2, or 3 matches. And now it almost seems like it could be much more than that. I suppose it's how much his kids are interested in what he's doing and how much, I feel like Goldberg gets more ego now from, entertaining his own kids and, making a paycheck than, entertaining all the fans. Not necessarily, because I know he does love all the fans, but, that's just how I feel about it. Anyway, guys, there's the news on Goldberg. We got more news that you may have missed here, so stick around for some news that has been reported, but you may have missed it. And here's that news in case you missed it. RYBACK is still bitching, guys. This is no joke. RYBACK is still bitching. By the way, Monetize This was a huge hit tonight. Absolutely amazing. If you haven't seen it, I'll put a link to the video up on the screen at the end of the video that you can click on with your mobile device or your tablet or your desktop. Click on it. Watch Monetize This. If you don't know, it's a show that we do Friday nights at 11 p.m. or so Eastern Time, U.S., and it's 4 hours to 5 hours of no wrestling, but a hell of a hangout and a hell of a party on this channel. We're coming up to episode 100. RYBACK says, this motherfucker, he says he talked about WWE never giving him big moments. RYBACK never got big moments, guys, and he says that was something they never gave me, the big moments. It was like the Buffalo Bills losing the Super Bowl 1, 2, 3, or 4 times, then eventually you give up cheering for them because they're going to lose. That's kind of an accurate statement, to be honest. Although, I don't know. It's the formula. They just kept knocking me down, peg after peg after peg after peg. It took years to do it, and then when it was hard to see that going on because I know the psychology of how that's why I left on my own, because now I can control everything and start over. But it's really worth it. Now I have a fighting chance. Now RYBACK says he has a fighting chance on the indies, I believe, plus with his podcast stuff. This is a guy who does seem like a nice guy. He's a little bit self-conscious about himself and about the way people are talking about him. I think he's a little bit paranoid about stuff. I think he may have a little bit of a blown idea of reality of how things are going. But be that as it may, you can't blame him for, all the work he's put in. This is a dude who put a lot of work in. Let's not forget that. With injuries and stuff like that, this is a guy who did put a lot of work in. So you can say what you want about RYBACK, and God knows I've made fun of him a lot as well. But, man, this guy's busted his ass. And I do wish him nothing but the best on the indie scene. I hope he does well, despite all the jokes, despite all the things and the setbacks and everything else he made, mostly because last night the donations were so out of control that we ended up getting in a lot of stuff we wanted to talk about, but I wanted to be one-on-one right now with you on my final thoughts on the WWE Royal Rumble. The pre-show was decent enough. It was fine. I enjoyed getting bonus wrestling. I know some people flip out about the hours and stuff, but if you told me the Royal Rumble was going to go down to 3 hours, I'd be disappointed because, you know what? With all the extra wrestling last night, it didn't hurt the pay-per-view at all, in my eyes. In my eyes, it didn't hurt it at all. But let's go on to the main show. I mean, and the titles change hands with Sheamus and Cesaro, but I liked it. Not the best match that those guys have had, but I liked it. Charlotte and Bayley. There's two sort of opinions on this, it seems like. I'm going to try to set the camera up so you don't shaking it all over in your faces. There are two different opinions on this. Basically, what I've heard is 1-0 was a botch fest, and 2 that it was okay. It was pretty good. I think the truth is in the middle, as most things usually are. There was a few little botches in it, but I like that they took some chances. They did some different things. For the most part, I thought it was a decent match. I think last night I'd given it a 6.5 out of 10. So I stick with that rating. I give it a 6.5. Okay, little match to open up the show. It was above a normal boring match, but it wasn't quite at a great it wasn't like the perfect opening match, but they did a decent job, and I enjoyed it. I think they're capable of a lot more, and that's the good news. On to Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. This match was actually really cool. It was really good. Just the sort of some of the brutality that I don't know if you call it brutality nowadays, but it was kind of interesting, you know. First of all, Roman Reigns Kevin Owens squashing Reigns on the table, on the far end of the table where the metal post or whatever, the folding arms would stick out, was dangerous. So I just gave that spot extra credit because he didn't just land in the middle of the table. He landed on the tough side and broke that table. It was, I mean, granted they're stunt tables, but it was still, sometimes stunt tables can be more dangerous because like a normal table, you know, you hit it in the middle, it breaks. If you hit a normal table where he hit it, it probably would have hurt. Somebody would have a collapsed lung or a broken rib and be going to the hospital. But sometimes with those collapsible tables, those dummy tables, they get so thin that they can crack and they can pierce through you. If you look at the metal, the way or aluminum or whatever it's made out of bends, I feel like it can just pierce right on through you and it can do some damage. But just that spot was cool. Setting up the chairs, of course, when those chairs were stacked in that bizarre way, Jenga, whatever it was, you knew somebody was going through that, so you pretty much didn't think the match was going to be over. Now, I have seen in other matches before where people have set things up and they didn't use it. So it's not 100% that you could say, well, if they don't use that, they're not going to, this match can't be over because they haven't done the spot there yet. And I get that, that's true. But there has been a few times where that has not happened. And I remember thinking, what the hell happened with that? Why'd they set that up? And, but here, you know, you knew somebody was going through that somehow. But at the same time, I thought, maybe somebody won't. Maybe that was just for show, because it's so awkward. Nobody's going to jump through that friggin' thing. And sure enough, Kevin Owens puts himself through it, dives backwards, which is dangerous, and lands in there. So I just gave the, that was crazy. Not that I wouldn't do it, because I would, but I'm just saying that, you know, I just give credit to them. Anytime there was that potential of danger, a guy put himself through some... Kevin Owens took kind of a beating in this thing. They both did. It was a great match for them. I would probably give this like a 7.5. On a no disqualification match in the PG era, it was better than the Ambrose and Lesnar match at WrestleMania, I believe. You know, in some other comparable ones. So I give it a 7.5. So matches are on the rise at this point. The Cruiserweight title match was also really good. That ended up being the sleeper match. You know, the match, people taking bathroom breaks, some negativity towards it. But I thought it was one of the better Cruiserweights matches that we've seen on the main roster here. And Neville comes out looking good as the heel. Kind of slowed his pace down. That was noticeable. And it was a nice match. It really was. I'd probably give that match for the Cruiserweights maybe a 7, maybe a 6.5 or a 7. So, you know, we're back down there to, it might have been better than that. I'm probably underselling it, to be honest. You know, I don't remember it that much now, being the next day. So I feel like I'm not giving it a fair enough rating, to be honest. But at the same time, I don't remember much more about it that would make me want to give it a better rating. So I'll give it a 7, which I find hard that I'm giving that a bigger rating than Charlotte and Bayley, but whatever. I'm going to give it a 7, so screw it. 6.5, 7, and also that no disqualification match. Chris Jericho hanging up on the top was kind of funny, by the way. I mean, we knew he was going to do something, right? So the brass knucks happened. That was interesting. Roman Reigns just Superman punching everybody. And Kevin Owens ends up getting the victory because Braun Strowman... I know that I'm jumping around here, but I totally forgot to talk about the end of that match. So the Cruiserweights, whatever, Neville wins. I like it. But let's go back to that no disqualification match yet. Strowman coming out. To me, I couldn't believe what was going on. Then I remembered, oh yeah, I think Michael Cole... Somebody reminded us that, Strowman was speared, him and Goldberg and all that stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. And to me... Based on what happened at the end of the Rumble with Roman, which we'll get to in a few minutes, that tells me that I would think, Strowman is going to be fodder for Roman Reigns leading towards the WrestleMania, where Roman Reigns will end up facing, most likely what it looks like is The Undertaker. So Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker, and Braun Strowman is there to kind of take on Roman until then, since The Undertaker doesn't have a full-time schedule. Let's just go right to the Rumble after that. I forget if something else happened, but let's go right to the Rumble. I think it was the Rumble that happened, but, man, I'll tell you what. This was last year's Rumble. The ending was good, and the match itself was kind of bad. There was some botchy things last year and stuff like that. I thought it was the opposite this year. The entire Rumble match itself was really good. Executed perfectly, I thought. Everything they did that they obviously wanted to do, whether we agreed we wanted to see it or not, that's a different story. But they executed it beautifully. I thought it was so good. Gulak with the umbrella, dude, like I was dying. That was killing me, dude. Mary Poppins out of the ring, that was so funny. Jericho second. Big Cass first. That was alright. There was some laggy parts of the Rumble that I didn't enjoy. I really just didn't... The placing was weird. To have Goldberg and Brock and everybody show up at the end, I thought that was stupid because we all know they're coming. There was no surprise. There just wasn't a surprise. No Angle, no Finn Balor. From what I understand, the news that I'm getting from people is that Finn Balor was going to be there, and some things set him back that were unforeseeable, or that they didn't realize were going to happen, or beyond their control type of thing. So, as much as everybody's mad and everything, apparently... Perhaps, unless they're lying, which they could be, or they change direction with something. See, that's the thing, we don't really know. But from what they're saying, it seems like, and the few sources that I've seen and heard from, it seems like they did plan on having Balor, but something else happened, and so he can't be there, or he wouldn't be able to do it. I don't know. No Seth Rollins, no Triple H continuation, so that's going to continue later on, I guess. Just not a lot of stuff that we expected. My favorite thing in the Rumble, the thing that I'll go back to watch in this Rumble will be Ty Dillinger. I marked out for Dillinger. That was it. Perfect 10. Loved it. That was it. Well, there was more. Okay, let's. I'll be honest. Okay, so Ty Dillinger showing up. That was great, dude. I marked out like a psychopath in my room. My wife, Leah, was so pissed off by the end of this Rumble, though. Goldberg comes in and goes. First of all, Brock Lesnar comes in and goes insane. He beats the crap out of everybody. And Goldberg comes in and just immediately destroys Lesnar, which is something I mentioned months ago. And he did it. He destroyed and threw Lesnar out of the Rumble. It was crazy. Eventually, once The Undertaker enters the ring, which he entered kind of cool, cool entrance, sort of expected, but cool nonetheless. Goldberg being eliminated by The Undertaker. And then... at this point, it's just like, man, someone's got to be coming number 30. And it's Roman Reigns. A guy that had a title shot earlier in the night. What if he had been the champion? He would have been in the Rumble? AJ Styles wasn't in the Rumble. He didn't win his match. He lost his title. Why didn't AJ Styles get put in the Rumble? I've never seen this before, from what I understand. I mean, please, and someone was telling me Dolph Ziggler and Randy Orton did it back in 2008 and in 2010. How dumb is that? How stupid is that? Number 30, the most coveted spot you could get, the best spot to come in, when the Authority hates Roman Reigns and they're against him and he gets number 30? I mean, it was a big troll job on the fans, I get it. They made everyone pissed off. And they used Roman Reigns to make sure that Randy Orton would get over. That was the whole fucking point of it, was to make everyone flip out so that Randy Orton would make 100% sure he's going to get cheered for. This Rumble will not end in boos as it has before. But the reason why I was so upset was because all I could think was, if it's Randy Orton and Cena at WrestleMania, I want to kill myself. I can't stand these two. Leah got up and left, and once Roman came out, she didn't even watch the Rumble. Let's be fair, though. Personal feelings aside, that I just can't stand the fact that it could be Orton and Cena. I mean, Randy Orton, dude, he hit Roman Reigns with one of the best RKOs I've ever seen. He's had a lot of cool RKOs and cutters, but that Roman Reigns about to spear him and then just whammo, he hits him with that RKO. It was awesome. And then he clotheslines him out of the ring. I mean, everyone just disgusted by Reigns and cheering for Orton. Well executed by Randy, by Roman, by WWE. A big troll job on the fans. People are pissed. JD from New York practically had a fucking conniption in his review. I was upset as well. I gotta be honest, though, I was a little distracted last night. We had so many donations coming in that we really couldn't get through a fluid review or take all the phone calls, which I'm fine with, because you know what? People say integrity and podcasting and interruptions, they don't like them sometimes. But you know what? Last night was an amazing night, and it helped the show. It helped me personally and everybody. It helped a lot of people out because of the support from you guys. The worse WWE does, the better we do financially, it seems like. And we always welcome the donations. And I think we eventually, halfway through the review last night, if you didn't see it, we did get into it a little bit more. But I wanted to give my one-on-one take kind of on this show last night. So I was very upset last night. I think today the dust has settled a little bit, and I've calmed down a bit. Yesterday I was fuming. It was like, I was raging, and then I really went into a rage when I found out you couldn't watch it on the network because it was a blackout or something, and that pissed me off. And then it was, what losers, they came down on the carts. The WWE had many of the wrestlers coming down on go-karts or whatever, and it did have the WWE logo on it. And they would pan away from the wrestlers to get the ring reaction, and then go back to the guy as he was already off the cart, and it appeared he had walked down to the ring. I mean, it was kind of silly. I mean, you don't want people pulling hamstrings and things like that running to the ring, but it's just it was like a WrestleMania when Cole was looking at his notes and he goes like, "For the love of all mankind," after Shane jumped off the cage. Just feels like we're watching a fake show. But when I watched it years ago, it felt like it was real. But there's so many things because of social media that come out that make you just go, oh. So last night I was going to give the Rumble an 8 until the ending. And then because of what they did and there was no surprises, I think I went down to a 5. I think that was overkill. I think I was emotional last night. But if you look at the Rumble and the way they executed it, with the fact they had no surprises really, other than Ty Dillinger, and you look at AJ Styles and Cena, which we haven't talked about yet, save the best for last. I mean, I'd have to keep that rating up there a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and give the Royal Rumble a 7.5. And that's higher than I thought I would give it, but lower than I could have given it if they had just put surprises in there. That could have been an amazing Rumble, especially with AJ Styles and John Cena in the WWE Championship match, which we have to talk about real quick. So many false finishes, but yet it was all necessary. I really enjoyed it. First of all, AJ Styles has had a really good run with the WWE title. One of the longer runs, compared to what you thought he might have had. Pretty good run. In that, he looked fairly strong and believable. John Cena going up against him in this match and delivering 2 AAs, the multiple false finishes, the battle that ensued between these two guys. John Cena's put him over a couple times. AJ Styles comes out looking like a beast in this match. John Cena comes out looking like a beast, and AJ Styles just comes out looking legit. I mean, this match basically tells you that these guys could just fight forever, and the belt could be bouncing around. And they are almost each other's equal, pretty much. And that is a pretty cool thing when you think about it. Sure, I wanted AJ Styles to win, you know, but we knew pretty much that John Cena was going to end up taking that title away. And I definitely would have wanted AJ Styles to win even more if I knew Randy Orton was going to be the one to win the Rumble, because I absolutely don't want John Cena versus Orton at WrestleMania. If it is John Cena and Orton at WrestleMania, I'm not trying to be a crybaby, but I swear to you, I might not watch it. I just can't stand these two anymore against each other, unless it's in like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre match. Or, wow, I don't know what the hell, someone just blew out a tire. What the hell was that? Oh my god. I'm bleeding. I'm shot. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what the fuck that was. Someone's tire blew out, obviously. Or engine, I don't know. Or someone did shoot somebody. But, no, it's, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to be a crybaby. I mean, I'm gonna watch it, so this is bullshit. But, I mean, if... I'm gonna watch it. I review these things. I'm gonna watch it. I just don't want Cena and Orton. And I don't like late title changes before WrestleMania either. Somebody should be running with the belt like AJ was. You know, I would have been okay if John Cena had won at WrestleMania against AJ Styles in the main event like they did tonight. That would have been cool. Put that match at WrestleMania. Why? Why not? It's seeming like Goldberg is going to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Seems like it's going to be Roman versus Undertaker. It's going to be John Cena versus Orton, perhaps. And Bray Wyatt, I don't know. Is it going to be Bray Wyatt against Luke Harper? Because Luke clotheslined Bray Wyatt last night. So we're going to have Luke Harper against Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, perhaps. And, oh shit, what was the last thing? There was something else I had to... Oh, and AJ Styles is now left with nothing to do. But most likely, AJ Styles will face Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. So if that is the way that things actually pan out, and Kevin Owens, most likely Kevin Owens, is going to get Finn Balor, if Finn Balor returns still, and it seems like he will, perhaps. So we could potentially have Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor, Roman versus Undertaker, Brock versus Goldberg, Shane versus AJ, John Cena versus Randy Orton, Luke Harper versus Bray Wyatt. What do you guys think of that? Let me know down below in the comments section, guys. I gotta get back to work. I hope you guys enjoyed this one-on-one review. I know that I'm not in my studio and shit, but I figured you guys would appreciate just my kind of take on things. I'm sure I forgot some shit, but I will try to get this uploaded right now for you. I hope you can click that like button, comment down below, and subscribe if you're not subscribed. Then I will see you tonight live after WWE Raw. I'm sure it's going to be another chaotic night, to be honest, based on the anger from the crowd and the people and the listeners. And, yeah, executed very well, but the decisions are questionable. That is my take on the Royal Rumble 2017. My name is Joe Cronin. Hit me up on Twitter, at Joe Cronin JCS. I'll see you later, guys. But there you